Hey guys, welcome back to theOrangeDoom and welcome to 2018. What a year it is and what a start it's going to be. Not just am I already in tier 4, we're almost level 21, we have over 5 million silver lions, and I've just received my first packet of gold. 3 days of premium for getting second place in the 2 versus 2 tournament event over on the 30th of December. So, I thought to start the year off, I would do a couple of micro tests, and one of these micro tests would be not just for the community, but for me to decide, and that is a live commentary style. When I've been doing a lot of these streams lately, and I've been streaming daily, by the way, and I've gotten the feeling that sometimes explaining what's going on in the match, it's easier done when it's live. And because I've played so many of these matches, and because at the moment I'm playing my 4.7 Germans and 5.3 Russians respectively, I could really just, melancholically talk about it, because I think it's pretty standard. It's what I've been doing daily, and so it's not a big deal. Before I do that, quick rundown, how far we've come. I'm currently 1 match away from the ZSC37, and the reason I went for the 37 is obviously the main SPA for the tournament that we're going to be doing, and the main SPA we'll be using all around for the remainder of the Russian tech tree. I'll be using this in conjunction with the BTR, by the way. BTR, I know, it's tier 2, it doesn't look extremely powerful, but this SPA packs a big punch. And the best part is, you can spray a bit. When I'm done with this ZSU, I was thinking about going for the T-34-85, to have 2 mediums. I like playing T-34s, they're pretty nice tanks, very maneuverable. I do have to go back and spade the T-34-57 and the KV-1. I'll do that probably whilst I still have the premium over the next few days. And I'll use those to go for the IS-1 and the IS-2. As for the planes, I don't really care about the planes right now. I'm focusing on Yak-9K, we'll be going for the Yak-3, then skipping for the Yak-9U. This plane is probably going to be primarily flown in air battles, it's very good there. But again, my goal is the Tu-2S. So, with the LA-7 being unlocked, I don't really have to struggle about anything else, so kind of ignoring the tech tree for now. Going in for the Germans now, this is where the big boom is going to start to happen, because I'm about to research the Dorniers, and that opened up the world, obviously, to tier 4 very soon after the Focke 498.5, so likely it's time that we're going to go into the G-series of BF-19s. I'm very excited about that. As for tanks, obviously Tiger, then the Panther, and then whatever happens, really not going to focus too much from that point on. The problem I do have is with Americans. I haven't started yet, and these 3 days of premium look extremely attractive to actually give some matches in. So I was thinking maybe I might drop in some matches with arcade planes. This is something I haven't decided whether to do live or not, but the way I do planes is I start with arcade. I spade all the biplanes in arcade, and then by the time that I've done that, I should already have access to all the other tech trees, which is usually a reasonably effective way to research. Now, because of these arrows, I have to be very careful which line I research. Now, already, not going to go for the bombers, not going to go for the dive bombers. I do want to unlock these 2 lines primarily, so probably going to go for the F3, F, and then the Buffaloes. Work my way down the naval tree, and then hop over for some, P-63s and whatnot. The American line, not too excited about it. It's got weird progression, not too familiar with me, but tanks are going to be easy mode. So yeah, enough lollygagging, let me jump into a match and let's get some experience going. Alright, so first match, we're playing the Germans. We do the 4.7 lineup. So to skimp over the lineup, I think I've got a Panzer IV-H and then the Oswin. So essentially I'm up-tiering it. This is a very, very up-tiered lineup, and that's to give a point, which is that the lineup can do pretty well as well. So I'm using a 4.3 tank with a 3.7 backup in a match that has a overall 4.7 lineup. So it's a very high chance we could meet some very high tier tanks. So I'll start with the Panzer IV-H. I've got a few basic shells loaded up. With German tanks, it's always pretty standard. You don't need anything except for the stock shell. That's really all you're gonna require. Spawn wise, gonna go for the north spawn, and we'll make our way around this corner, get on top of this hill, and then we can overlook 2 capture points. That's kind of the way I like to play. I like playing mid. I consider myself a mid player, and so if I put myself on the map somewhere around the middle, I can control more than one spot, which is obviously a big advantage. If I go into a corner of a map, let's say if I went down here for Charlie, I can only then work around Charlie area, and because the Ash River map is in 3 kind of levels, Bravo being in the middle, A being a bit lifted, and Charlie being a bit down, if we, go into the C area, we're not going to be able to cover anything else. So I feel it's more effective for a person to go and play mid in this case. Now, obviously, not everybody should be playing mid, but a few players could become useful. So check the map here. 5 players going for C. One player is joining me and might even cross over. They already have a teammate on the capture point, and we have a few players going for Alpha. So I can assume Charlie is ours, Bravo is going to be theirs, and that means that I'm going to have a lot of work cut up for me because I have no teammates in the area. So we're playing solo. This is something that I don't like too much, but it is my preferred playstyle. I like having non-obstructions when it comes to actually playing the game. So not having any teammates means that I'm relying primarily and only on myself, which isn't too bad. There's a bat shot there, but they do have a player on the bridge. It's a Locust, so it shouldn't be a big problem. I'll just push forward and ignore him for now. He can penetrate me. He'll be using APCR. But the best I can do is just ignore him, get into a good position, and I'll work from there. Here we go, we're on the bridge. Now, before I jump in here, I'm going to wait for him, let him pop out, he'll do it once more. Let's see if he falls for the bait. He doesn't. And I miss. Not a big problem. Now, before I push the bridge, bridge is a weak spot, right? You don't want to push the bridge because you got players all around, and then that happens. This is where we have to make a decision, right? What we're going to do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my SPA. This is a classic game scenario. You die early, you done goofed. I use the Verbal Wind, and I go for the upper spawn, and I'm going to drive down to Bravo here. So I've got a Locust and an M10. I can eliminate them both from the match without too much hassle. So first thing I'll do, spot for my team. Drop RT exactly where the enemy was last spotted, and not within the area of my teammates themselves, so I'm not risking any team kills. And I'm in an SPA. So what I do is I pay attention to points. If I open up my tab, actually, my N button, it should give me a lineup of how many player kills certain players have. And right now, only Tony can have a plane. So if I spot Tony dying, that means Tony might go into a plane. Very, very simple to understand what's happening on the map, when it's happening, why it's happening. So at the moment, I don't have to focus on any kind of aircraft because I know there won't be any aircraft in the sky. But as soon as I see the top enemy players start to get eliminated, that means we can expect a few ground pounders, a few attackers, maybe a fighter. There's this little cheeky spot you can climb over, since the map's been a bit remade. And I use this to get into a better position, hopefully whilst being ignored by that guy up there, and hide. Okay, very nicely done there. And now we have a great spot on the side of an M10. Unfortunately, so does the Locust, which has found its way onto the bridge. So we're doing pretty badly right now. My team needs to start pushing up to the northern end. I should have enough to respawn something extra. There we go. We got the M22. Bit of a clutch shot. Let's finish off the M10. There we go, a double kill. And now we're just going to sit here. We've got nothing else to do. We now have enough spawn points for anything else that we might want to spawn in. And this is exactly how I play my game. You know, I'll spawn the medium tank first. I'll do something wrong. I'll get eliminated. And then I'll just use SPA to carry back. It's a very simple way to retain spawn points. And we're not in a bad spot anyways, because if the enemy tries to push the bridge, that means we have shots on target. So I'll just do a bit of scouting here, trying to find the enemy if we can. And if we don't, not a big deal, we're in a decent position as it is. Now, I don't know if there's anything on Alpha, so I will go for a quick RT drop. I use RT as a, not so much for, you know, hey, I want to get a free kill, but more in the sense of it's scouting. You know, it's scouting for yourself. And there we go. We just scouted a player. It's a medium tank, you can see from the icon. And that means that that player is in Alpha, and we have an exact position of where he is. So without me just, you know, rolling into the capture point thinking, oh, there's nobody there, I can expect a heavy tank, or a medium tank, or a light tank, depending on what it is. So let's try to keep on the down low. Try not to get spotted. Let's point out for my team to go to Bravo, because they do have cover for me at this point. And then if we can, pushing into the enemy spawn would be a good idea at this point because we have an SPA, and SPA are very good at eliminating SPA. And that's what the enemy has a lot of right now in their spawn. This was a bad idea. I'm completely blind. Quick match there on the Sherman, I think, but not enough for 1 versus 3. And that's not a problem because, again, We've just retained spawn points, and in this case, I'm thinking about going for the Panzer IV-G. I'll use the lower tier spawn. It's going to cost me a bit less, so instead of 540 and a respawn, or a backup, I'll only be using about 420. So we'll just blaze it straight back into the battlefield and get some damage done. Again, spawn for planes, we've got a B-25, the SPA is focused on him, that's all good. Team is pushing into Bravo. Just play it nice and slow. Always read the map, read your team. If you know where your teammates are, you know where the map, what's happening on the map, it's extremely easy to make a countermeasure happen. Okay, this guy might spot me, he might even get me, and maybe he don't. T-14, a tank a lot of people ask me about if I like it, and I've never played it. You know, obviously my main has all the premiums, but I don't really go playing all the premiums. I kind of don't really think premium below tier 3 is any efficient. Let's see here. We did have a spot on him. That was a blind shot. Didn't work. I do a lot of these binocular shootings. And that's a Sherman Jumbo in a very unlikely position for me to get out of. So I'll call him out on the map as I've died, so that my team maybe reacts to it if we got a plane going for him. This is where we have to make a decision, and my decision is going to be spawn a plane right now. Why? Because I've already spawned 2 mediums. A third spawn of a medium is going to cost me 3 times than the first one did. You know, it is scaled. If I spawn a plane, it's the first plane spawn of the match. And what I can do with a plane is maybe strafe a few SBA, spot for my team, and I think at this point the enemy might bring a plane or 2 out. Not too confident, but we'll see. And obviously with my team having 2 capture points, which I was able to reach from the map, that means that we can in fact fool around in a plane, and you can see there a little grey spot. Maybe you can spot it. This is one of the biggest problems with planes when you spawn in for the first time when you're playing, is you don't actually see the enemy spawn a plane in. You have to continuously pay attention. For me, after every dive, after every strafe, after every plane kill, ground kill, doesn't matter, I always check the sky if somebody else has spawned in, because if you don't spot them, they might have spotted you, and that means GG, well played. So I'm keeping it down low. This makes it easy to spot. Again, a grey dot in a blue sky, far easier to spot than the grey dot in the green sky, so should be easier. We've got a P-38, and I can focus on 1 SPA if I want to. There he is. We got 1 SPA. He's focusing on the I-16 and the ME-410. That means nothing exactly, so we're gonna just go straight back up and re-engage the P-38. Again, I'm using my teammates for bait here. Quite efficient, quite easy, leisureful, pass below. Nice crit. Pull out of the dive, re-engage, and we should have a kill here. Without too much hassle. There we go. Again, I check for planes. There's nothing there, so I'm going to check for the ground targets. I check the spawn points. We have 1 spawn point there. We have 1 spawn point there. And what I'm trying to find is tanks that I can shoot with machine guns. If this is an M10, for example, I can go straight through the top of his tank, and it's a free kill. So I'm prioritizing, and again, see, after the kill, check the planes, and somebody has spawned in. Now, I've got a TU2 that just went head-on with him, so don't have to worry about that guy anymore. But again, after every single pass, you just quickly glance at the enemy spawn points to make sure that you're not in danger of getting shot down. Now let's do a bit of checking on the map here. So Charlie is ours. There's no tanks that seem to be going for it. Oh, there we go, 1. See, check the spawn. See a tank. He's going for the capture point. We've got a KV-1 there. If I just shoot this guy over here, that will notify the KV-1 of its presence, and that means maybe he'll turn around and try to defend Charlie. If he doesn't, we go to 29k, and then again, I can respawn about anything at this point because I've got 1,500 spawn points from the actions done along the match and in the plane. Checking the spawn points, checking the sky. This late in the game, I can almost guarantee you this is game over. The enemy's got 3 players who have not even died yet. They have a lot of kills. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it nice and slow and cheeky. And what we do is we do nothing. We're going to just glide around the sky, put our smoke on so they know that we're here. And this is attracting the enemy that's getting shot down to spawn a plane. And little do they know, we're anticipating them to spawn a plane. Now what happens when a player spawns a plane with a very small amount of spawn points? That means that when they get shot down without doing any damage, especially if they're taking some kind of extra ordnance like rockets or bombs, they won't have any spawn points whatsoever. And with most people not spawning SPA, it'll be them out of the match. Before we can do that though, we got an Ostman going for Alpha. One Sherman that just got out on Bravo, and again the, I think the Chaffee that we spotted before. So this shouldn't be a big deal. And there we go, a plane just spawned in, we put our smoke off, and engage. And you can see that grey dot in the sky, very easy to spot. That's why we like to stay a little bit below the enemy and not above them. This is a little trick that I learned in sim battles, because in sim battles you're playing in a cockpit, you know, spotting down there, it's impossible, but looking up, that grey sky makes for a very, very appealing. Okay, we got a Hurricane, give him a quick burst, going to cool down the engine for a bit, I'm going to play defensive flying with him. Very easy, just cut the throttle, use a bit of flaps, turn back on him. He's in the G-lock maneuver, put some hits in him and he crashes. Very, very simple. And again, as soon as I'm done, I check the sky, I know where the spawn is, and because it's clear, we're going to check the enemy spawn points, see if any more tanks have appeared. If there's an SPA, I can strafe him. And we're doing very, very well this match. Unfortunately, it looks like my team is starting to get pretty damaged at this point. So it might be time to swap back to tank. Alright, so we got 11 minutes, and okay, there we go, SPA, so I'm going to deal with it. First thing you do is identify the SPA. It's a AAA Mark II, I think a Crusader. Going to ignore that for now, because I got a plane up, and it looks like a P-47, going for a very aggressive stall. And this is where I could push after him, right? I'm not going to do that, I'm going to cut the engine, I'm going to cool it down, and I'm just going to go around and make pretty much a U-turn. That means the P-47 will be attacking me. So, let's go for a 1v1. And this is what I like about ground battles. Essentially, everything you do is a 1v1 engagement. There we go, the P-47 spotted us. We go into a shallow dive, get some speed back up, and now we're going to have to go and try to get out of this one alive. He is spraying a lot, he is using stealth. Gradual turn, get my flaps ready, pull him into a dive, make sure he misses his engagements, smoke can go off now, and just zoom run after him. And if we did this right, we should have guns right on target. Not quite. But again, it's a P-47, he's in a turn fight. There's very little he can do, except for that Chaffee. That Chaffee could be a problem. He's using his AAA for cover. See, a very, very smart maneuver there. Putting me into a stall fight if the AAA knows what they're doing. If they don't, that'll be him out. Now, this did kill my engine, but again, that's 3 air kills and I think 1 ground kill that we did. We're about to re-engage the SP as well, and here, even if he did actually look at the sky and shoot me down, it wouldn't be a big deal. We've got enough spawn points, we're going to crash it, doesn't really matter, and go for a tank. Or actually, I might swap my idea here. I'm going to take the Ostwind, I'm going to go for Charlie. Why? I've got a stock Ostwind, I want to get some experience in it, and I have an option here to go not just for a capture point, but for a Chaffee. Chaffee doesn't have a lot of armor, so an ideal way to eliminate a light tank is in fact to use a SPA. You know, one of those triangular rules. Not just does SPA defeat planes, SPA is also superior to light tanks. A lot of more firepower, and that's effectiveness. Alright, again I'm going to check the sky, because I am flying a plane before. It is a Hellcat. So what we're going to do is, we're just going to give it a nice little waiting time. And now I've got a problem. I just spotted an M6A1. That's a heavy tank for the US tech tree. I don't really want to engage. But I keep my eyes on the plane. I'm an SPA. That's what SPAs do. He's going to be re-engaging the TU2. That means we're on target. Settle down. And start range fighting. Now, how do you range fight an SPA? I just kind of try to shoot and follow the tracers. Let the tracers do the work for me. It's very similar to flying a P-47 using tracers. Now, obviously this thing is stock. It's going to be abysmally hard to use, especially for long-range sniping, but it doesn't matter. We can just spray him down. Let's try to get this tree. There we go. And we'll see if we can get some ranging. You do a couple of pot shots, See where he moves. See where the shells are going. The match is not looking too good for us here. We might actually have to lose it. Again, that lack of a tank support might be the end. Somebody's popping smoke in the capture point. That is our perfect chance to push forward. It's because smoke works both ways. Smoke will hide you from the enemy, but it will also hide the enemy from you, because you don't have an eyesight on him. Gotta be careful for the plane. If he comes back, he can strafe me. But keep my focus on the capture point. That's the objective. If I do the objective, we win the game. If we win the game, that's more experience for me and my team. 1, 2, 3 players remaining. There we go. Another smoke grenade coming out. What I'm going to do, I'm going to drive straight forward. Because usually players don't anticipate you driving into the smoke. That's precisely what he did. And that should be our capture point. Now again, put ourselves into a nice defensive position, and we are back in the SPO role. No more tank destroying. Somebody gets me right now, it'll be game over. We have a triple cap going on. If we can hold this for the next 7 minutes, it should be a good ticket drain. Alright, P-47, fighting the Hellcat. Just lost. Let's get some attention. Try to see where the shots are going, you know. Are they falling long? Are they falling short? They're falling short. So we've got to lead a lot more there. But before I do that, I'm going to move out of this capture point. I don't want to sit in it. I want to get a nice position behind a cart where they don't anticipate me, and then just camp the remainder of this game. There we go. The plane is exiting a little strafe. This is where they're the weakest, you know. When the plane comes nice and close, that's when they're weakest. So I do a bit of spraying, make sure to remind them I'm still here. Hold on. We might have a second kill here. It is an M4 Sherman. Now I can really work an M4 Sherman around, but I have to make sure I get this side. So identifying where he's actually turning right now will be quite important. Hope the plane's not coming back yet. Okay, let's see if the Sherman's going to make a left-hand or a right-hand turn. He's completely oblivious. Never mind. Won't be necessary. Well played to the KV-1. See, and that's why you have teammates. Very easy to make work of those players like that. Now, for a snipe like this, when the enemy's in a stall, you just kind of want to spray around a bit, see where the shots are going. As you can see, I'm not really doing too much work with SP, and I don't have to. As long as I spray him down a bit, should be enough. He can't really hit his rockets, so as long as he's in a plane, he can't win the game. Think of it that way. There's 3 capture points. You can't capture a point in a plane. So if he's in a plane, that's 1 less player on the battlefield, meaning we have a much higher chance of winning. And at the moment, he's one of the only 3 people standing. So it's 2 players for 3 capture points, and we have all 3 with merely minutes to go. And I think we just managed to carry this game without a single sweat. These stock shells, by the way, if you're using an Ostwind, yeah, you've probably noticed it. It's quite difficult to get the lead in, especially these ranges, but this is how practice... See, that didn't do jack shit. Practice makes perfect, really. If I were to shoot there at the F4, you probably would have been a free kill, but not a big deal. Still trying to arrange my shots in. I think the match is just about to end. There we go. A bit of spraying. As long as we can keep them away from the battlefield, means we get a free win. And there we go. First place for the team. 100,000 silver lines of profit, and you can actually check where you got that profit from. So to everybody who's complaining about making money, I made the most money, obviously, flying the plane. That's one of the biggest tips for you. The rest of it was made by the Ostwind and the Verbal Wind. See, it's funny because the SPA can make not just spawn points come back, but it can also fill up your silver line cache. Now, before I end the video, pay attention to this. This is my upgrade scheme, right? This is where do you put your upgrades to. In terms of planes, I like to go radiator, offensive, compressor, and then push the engine and the engine injection as fast as possible, get the stealth belt, then upgrade the guns so I have precision. And then for the BF-109, I do want to do a little bit of bombing, so in this case, I'll be putting it on the 500 something upgrade. It allows me to take one 250 kilogram bomb. Very useful. For SPA, I go parts first, And now, because this is the Ostwin, and I do want to use the Ostwin primarily as an SPA, I will go for horizontal drive first, and I'll then work my way down the actual belt, including the FP and then adjustment of fire. For the Panzer IV-H, these are most tanks. I like to go for parts and horizontal drive, FP and adjustment of fire, and then crew replenishment with elevation mechanism, and then doing some engine upgrades. Whatever I do then doesn't really matter, but I'm thinking I want to go for tracks, because these things supposedly increase the actual performance in terms of maneuverability when trying to turn. And yeah, that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. That was not planned. That was no post commentary. That was literally just me jumping into a game, having a bit of fun, and getting out with a victory on top of the team. So if you'd love to see some more live commentary, if there's something you'd like to see changed, obviously I will watch back the entire video. I think I've probably rambled quite a bit. Coherence is definitely a problem when it comes to doing live commentaries, but I'm trying to think of a way that I could live stream and have clips from the live stream from games that I play actually in a video. So that's what I'm trying to test out here, and I thought the best way to actually test it is just to, well, let it happen. So 2018, off to a really good start for me, and right now I'm going to go back to grinding. I have exactly 3 days to do the whole premium grind thing, so I'm going to be no-lifing a bit, but I think it's going to be worth it, because in just 3 days I can get myself not one, but 2 different tournament lineups. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.